talking to you about a coffee farm that I spent time at in Costa Rica. So I love Spanish, so I want to take every chance that I can get to experience the Spanish culture. So when I was given the opportunity to spend a few weeks in Costa Rica, I was like beyond excited. A small group of us, which we named our Spanish club, wasn't really a Spanish club, we just called ourselves that. But we planned this trip for over 2 years, and we did a crazy amount of fundraising to make it happen. We were given a choice as to what we'd be doing while we spent time in Costa Rica. We could either do like more tourist-based activities, or we could get involved with the locals. We decided on doing a little bit of both, but my favorite thing that we did on the trip was getting involved with the coffee farm, and that's Down to Earth Coffee. It's a small farm run by a local family. They're very welcoming. And today I just want to tell you guys a little bit about how they run their farm and my experience there, and a little bit about coffee trade in Costa Rica in general. So around the time I entered high school, I began to develop an interest in Spanish. So I found language was just like very pleasing to listen to, and I also really loved the culture and the lifestyle. So when I was given a chance to spend time with a local and his family, I figured this would be one of the best opportunities that I would ever get, and I wasn't wrong. So Down to Earth Coffee is a farm owned by the hardworking and overly friendly Mateus is his name, and his small family. And his wife is actually from the United States. I believe she said Arizona. And Mateus works with several coffee farms around Costa Rica, but the place we visited was a farm in a place called La Fortuna in the Dora Tarazu Valley. And Mateus told us that the reason he started his farm in this particular location is because the altitude is exactly right for growing coffee. It produces what is known as a hard bean. The denser bean, the stronger the coffee, so these hard beans give the best results. The beans also contain less caffeine, which some people might not find favorable, but it's a matter of opinion. Normally he would do tours, but we wanted a little more involvement, so we had the chance to actually pick, plant, and dry beans with him and his family. He talked to us about who he trades with and how he would send tree saplings out a few times a year to a biology lab in UW Superior. This was a complete coincidence because he had absolutely no idea that we were from Wisconsin once we got there. And because we were from Wisconsin, he seemed really excited, and he sent me home with a bunch of coffee. And I was gonna bring some for you guys today, but I gave it to my grandma, and she drank it all, so I couldn't bring it to you. In general, Costa Rica trades coffee with the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, and Italy. And fair trade has become an issue, especially concerning coffee. Costa Rica has a major waterway on each side of the country for easy shipment, and Costa Rican farmers are growing, packaging, and exporting their coffee, but are making way less money than past years. Overall money is being lost. So this goes for sugar farmers as well as cattle farmers. There isn't really much of an issue with bananas at this point because there are so many of them in so many different regions of the country, so coffee is like the main focus. Also, banana trees are super inexpensive to plant and grow, so that's not really an area of concern. But getting back to the coffee, it really didn't seem to bother Mateus that his prices were dropping. He seemed to be very passionate about his job and was eager to get all of us involved and further educate us on his profession. He would go on and on about his farms and how it didn't really matter about how much money he made because he loves what he does so much. I really love the creative methods they would use to grow their coffees. So for example, small farms in Costa Rica, large machinery isn't really accessible to them because they don't have enough money. So they would have to make do with what they have available to them because they didn't want the coffee to get overexposed to sunlight. So they would plant banana trees in the center of a group of coffee trees, and the banana tree's large leaves would shield the beans from the sun and the heat, similar to like an umbrella would. When they had new tree saplings that needed to be planted, they would create a sort of tent out of sticks and banana leaves to protect the saplings and help them further develop. For the most part, their beans were sun-dried, and once we got to the farm, we could see large tables of them sitting on like these huge round plates. And after they were dried, Mateus would collect and package them. Eventually, everything was planted by hand as well, and we were taught specifically how to plant. We were to find two small tree saplings and pair them with each other based on the length of their roots. So she showed us how we could hold them up and just kind of compare before we planted them. Long root saplings were to be matched with other long root saplings, and the same went for the short root saplings. Once we learned how to plant them, we traveled to a place called Monteverde, where there was an open area for us to plant banana trees as well as some other saplings once we kind of got the hang of things. So in conclusion, never really in my life did I think I would be planting coffee in a third world country, but I'm glad that I did, and I hope in the future I'll be able to go back and visit all the people that I met there during my stay. Outside of the small towns we come from, and even the United States, things are completely different, and I was so surprised by that. I know that there are a few experienced travelers in the class, like obviously Scott and Nikita's from Russia, but I'm nowhere near them when it comes to the places I've been, but from what I have experienced so far, I can tell you that there is so much more to life than Barron County and where we are, and I hope that you all get a chance to have an amazing experience of your own like I did. Thank you.